All right. Thanks everyone for joining us. Me and my wife Letitia on our little adventure here. We're walking down a creek in Little Dixie, Kentucky. We like to do that quite often, as often as we can. And I'd stop for a minute and read you a story about Inhumanoids. For those of you who don't know, Inhumanoids are creatures that resemble humans or partly human, like Bigfoot and Dog Man, Mothman, Lizard Man, etc. They're often called cryptids, which is a big mistake because cryptids are simply natural animals waiting to be identified, cataloged. And these Inhumanoids are not that. They're something far beyond that. So there are no humanoid cryptids. There's no such thing. A lot of times what sets them apart from natural animals is an ability or abilities that are far beyond what anyone else or anything else in an animal world is capable of doing. So I wonder if you've ever wondered what happens, if you ever run over someone who's ever run over a Bigfoot. If you've ever asked that question, I have a story here that was sent to me a few years back. And I'd like to read it to you. It's called Roadkill. This happened in 2004 in Bell County, Kentucky, between Somerset and Mount Vernon. So here we go. My friend and I left Somerset and were looking for 461. I missed a turn as the road was pitch black. No street lights and hardly any houses for light. I decided to do a U-turn since there was no one around to go back to the road. I started pulling over to the shoulder of the road and saw a dead cat. The very next instant I saw what can only be described as a huge boulder with hair. There was no way to avoid impact, but impact did not happen. Instead of hitting the ball of hair, my car went up and over. Instantly, after my car came to a stop, a gagging smell filled the air. It was not the smell of hitting a rotten animal. It was a combination of smells, but very nauseating. My friend and I became very ill in the days afterward. She was a month in recovering from the cough and lung congestion. We did not stay to inspect anything because of the smell. It was absolutely horrific. What I saw was whitish, all one color. There were no visible legs, arms, head, feet, or anything. There was only a very large ball of fur. I pulled over at the first gas station, and there was hair hanging off my tailpipe. The smell of the car filled up the parking lot. It was very embarrassing. My car sustained several $100s worth of damage to the undercarriage, and my husband fixed everything. I believe that I hit a Bigfoot. No doubt in my mind. I know two people that have witnessed on two separate occasions Bigfoot balled up by the side of the road and a bike trail, respectively. I have spoken to this witness, Mrs. Angela Barth, many times via email, and always found her to be very pleasant and honest and a delight to talk to. I was shocked to learn that the most bizarre aspect of this experience was not running over a possible Bigfoot, but something else entirely. She was in fact keeping something about the encounter to herself, withholding something that she thought was too unbelievable to tell anyone. Luckily, my unequaled southern charm won her over, and she continued on. We were coming back from the hospital in Somerset, Kentucky, she said. My daughter had back surgery and we were leaving about 9 p.m. I was driving this pitch black road to get to 75. I missed my turn and had to turn around. I was going to make a U-turn and I saw a dead cat and then a huge furry ball. I mean, it was huge. It was too late to stop. I hit it. If you've ever had an accident, you know the helpless feeling of, oh crap. And then you just go with it. After I came to a stop, the stench filled the car. It was nauseating beyond belief, not rotten, just nasty. My friend started gagging and begged me to hurry up and leave. I didn't even know the car would start. Luckily it did, and I made the turn. I cannot tell you how bad the car smelled and continued to smell. After we got to the nearest gas station, I checked for damage. I was so embarrassed because my car was stinking so badly you could smell it all over the parking lot. I looked under the car and there was hair hanging off my tailpipe. It all stunk so very badly. Nothing remarkable so far. I looked at the clock though, and we had left the hospital an hour and a half before. It was 10:30 and we'd only gone about 13 miles since leaving that hospital. We didn't do one thing but leave the hospital, miss the road we needed by a few hundred feet, hit something, and then turned around. Now, not being able to account for that much time is unnerving. We tried every way to figure it out. We both got serious lung congestion after this, and I was sick for a week or more. My friend was sick for a month or longer until someone contacted Kay, and he told her some herbs to take for detox. My car had $700 worth of damage to the exhaust system and whatever that is that holds the wheels on underneath. That would be the axle. My husband could not understand how I could not see something as big as I hit and not see it. I saw the cat but not the big furry ball. This was hands down my strangest experience. Mrs. Barfield was responsive to further questioning from me and even added some new insight. In the seconds before impact, I saw the dead kitty and then the big furry ball. It was whitish, rather like a polar bear, all one color. I saw absolutely nothing but the ball. No legs, arms, head. It looked like a huge ball of hair. It was as high as the hood, ball-shaped. I had no idea at the time what it was, none. Didn't even think about it, which I now find very unusual. I didn't actually turn around to see anything. I was in the process of leaving the road to make a U-turn when I hit it. I merely finished the U-turn after the smell started and found the car actually would start. I do recall wondering if the car was too messed up to even run, but I didn't care. Just wanted to get away from the smell. I wasn't concerned one iota about what was out there. Not scared, actually. We were laughing hysterically. It was just weird. Neither one of us looked to see what I hit or even thought about it. We didn't suspect anything was strange at all until all the time was missing. We thought the smell was a bit excessive, but that was all. It was a calm kind of what just happened to us feeling. I cannot describe it. 90 unaccounted for minutes, and we were both calm upon discovering it. I have no idea when we realized it was most probably a Sasquatch we hit. We certainly didn't even entertain the thought at first. It was on the way home. I clearly recall we were near Lexington, that something hit us both. What happened? I can't explain most of it. Missing time was the clue something extraordinary had just happened. That sounded insane. But I mean, to be matter of fact, what happened, happened. The hair was there. I didn't care at the time. It did not occur to me about what it could have been, and I didn't know about the missing time at the time I looked under the car. I pulled over at the very first gas station to see if major stuff was leaking out. It was gagging just to be near my car. I looked at the clock after I got back in the car and made the discovery of the missing time. You see, it took a while for the whole thing to sink in. I cannot explain it at all. Of course, hair was hanging off my tailpipe. Wasn't expected because I had just hit something big and hairy. Maybe that is a woman's logic, I don't know. I just know it didn't matter to me at all. I was 300 miles from home with the real possibility my car was all jacked up. Actually, my car was all jacked up. I forgot to mention the oil leak in the first letter. I couldn't drive it after that until after my husband fixed it. He was so aggravated with me. I was so thankful to have made it home. I don't recall any blood. I don't recall if the hair was still there either. I finally told him what had happened. I waited a few days. Oh, I just did not know how to tell him what happened, and it didn't go over very well. I saw the little cat, not something as big as the front end of the car, and that is precisely what happened. He nor anyone else would have either in the exact same scenario. It was how it was, not something special for me. No, I did not think that I killed it. I hit it is all. I think it got really pissed off and skunked us. Probably cussed us good for 90 minutes. I'd say it is more like it needed help and time to get it. I think the car was a snack it had just caught and maybe put down when my car was coming. I think the cat was a snack it had just caught and put down when my car was coming. My daughter saw one in a ball on the side of the road several years ago. My daughter-in-law saw one in a ball when she was a kid. It was hiding on the side of a bicycle trail all balled up. And I think they ball up when they want to get down low. If you crouched down, tucked your head in, and got into the tightest ball you can with your body, that is precisely what we saw. I have no explanation for the time loss. Guess that is the purpose for it. I cannot explain seeing the cat and not seeing the big fur ball. Here is another description. A huge snowball all rolled up with hair. No limbs at all. None like a deer or cow would be askew in death on the highway. No, it was around 60 that December day, and there was not one lick of snow, and had been none. I wish it had been a snowball I hit. Many things can be learned about the phenomenon, such as these when one learned. Many things can be learned about phenomena such as these when one learns to ask the right questions. It turns out Mrs. Barth and her entire family has a long history of brushes with the unexplained, from Bigfoot to UFOs and even spectral or ghostly encounters, which spans 2 different states and several decades. I assured her that I had spoken to many people such as herself. People who seem to have multiple experience with unknown phenomena, and that I was one of them myself. As such, I could not so readily disregard statements about these atypical creatures, which depicted them as being further out of the ordinary than they would seem at first glance. Barth claims that although it does bother her sometimes, she has learned to live with the knowledge that there are 90 unaccounted for minutes gone from her life. She feels that whatever happened during those lost moments, she wasn't harmed in any way, so no harm, no foul. Neither her nor her friend has any plans at the moment to try and find out what happened that night via hypnotic regression. In any event, I am very grateful to this witness for her willingness to speak candidly with me about her experiences. So, there you have it. Some woman actually ran over a Bigfoot, and that's what happened. She ended up with $700 worth of damage to her car and 90 minutes worth of missing time. So, make of that what you will. It certainly is very strange. It's the first time I've ever actually interviewed someone who claimed that they ran over a Bigfoot. So, if you like this video, just be sure and hit the like and subscribe button. And if you have any inhumanoid encounters yourself that you would like to talk about, please feel free to email me at inhumanoidencounters@gmail.com. And we'll see about reading them on one of my videos. So thanks everyone for coming along this time, and hopefully we'll be doing this again very soon. Everyone have a great day. Bye-bye.